blood trail on the cement shows the path 40-year-old Robert Buckley took. From the alley near J&J Sports Bar to the Circle Inn across the road behind those trees after he was shot in the face on Wednesday night. Neighbors tell us multiple people tried to save 59-year-old Steve Petty from the fire that consumed his home just behind us, but no one could make it inside. Vicki Wren tells us she believes ex-Ada police officer Steve Godfrey died right here in her neighbor's backyard. The Hanging T here on Main Street gave the world a sneak peek of these Back the Blue t-shirts on Tuesday. By Friday's launch date, they were already on back order. Residents we talked to here on East Monterey who did not want to appear on camera for safety reasons tell us people are always going in and out of this house that was raided on Tuesday morning.
News 12's Brittany Harlow joins us live from the school. Tell us what's happening, Brittany.
Rita Durant Superintendent Dwayne Meredith sent us this letter last week addressing concerns over mold in parts of the high school, but not confirming whether or not mold was actually found anywhere on campus. Now we're told at least 200 students and parents are protesting today, saying the school is not doing enough to fix this problem. Jessica Ward tells News 12 her and her husband had just finished this house a couple of months ago after working on it for nearly 3 years.
It's everything my husband and I wanted. I wish we got to enjoy it longer.
Ward's house and another house on County Road 1450 off Highway 377 North were hit late Tuesday night. Thankfully, she and her husband weren't home.
I hate to think about what would have happened, but most likely we would have been really injured, best case scenario.
She says she had never left home to take shelter before, but a gut instinct told her she shouldn't stay put. So she and her husband went to a family friend's house.
The electric went out and we're like, we got to get out of here. So we went to the cellar, and then, you know, just around that same time, this had happened.
I still hadn't took it all in.
The foreman at Plasma Root CNC next door says he's been finding pieces of the shop all over the place.
All of our trees have been uprooted. Our house has been completely, pretty much demolished on the top of the roof and inside.
Despite so much destruction, no injuries have been reported. Ward tells News 12 she's grateful for her neighbors and everyone else who has helped her during this difficult time.
It's just really great to see all the people that are stopping by to help us. We really appreciate it.
Pontotoc County Emergency Management is currently working with the National Weather Service to figure out what exactly caused all this damage. In Bang, Brittany Harlow, News 12. The explosion here at the Voluntary Purchasing Group plant on FM 87 and Highway 56 happened around 7:30 Monday morning. As you can see behind me, the explosion actually ripped a hole through the roof of the warehouse where it happened. Barry Frambus lives just down the road. He says he heard a loud bang and his windows shook.
I went outside to see if there was something here on 87 that took place and couldn't see anything from here, so I drove down over the hill towards VPG and I could see the emergency vehicles.
Bonham Fire Chief Brad Nichols says no one was hurt.
We have transported 2 people precautionary to the hospital, but no threatening injuries.
Fannin County Emergency Management Coordinator Daryl Brewer says there was no fire. A chemical just exploded out of its tank, and that part of the sprinkler system was compromised in the explosion. Brewer says contaminated water did not make it past the dike that encircles the entire plant.
I'm pleased that the safety precautions we had in place, a fully diked facility, a state-of-the-art water sprinkler system, did what they were supposed to do.
VPG President and CEO Steve Money says the preliminary stage of the investigation shows the chemical that exploded is believed to be an herbicide called triclopyr. He says the facility sustained some damage, but there is no hazard to workers, the public, or wildlife.
It looks like a tank exploded straight up, from what we can tell.
Officials are still investigating why the chemical exploded. Nichols said a truck was being offloaded in the warehouse where the explosion happened, but could not confirm if it was related to the explosion. Hazmat crews have cleaned up the outside of the building, but we're waiting for the state fire marshal to arrive before beginning work on the inside of the building.
I was concerned when I went down that direction, but when I saw there was no smoke, no fire trucks there, I kind of relieve some of that anxiety.
Money tells us they are conducting a full investigation into what happened to make sure it never happens again. In Bonham, Brittany Harlow, News 12. Speaking with Charla Aldis here at her office in Dallas, she tells us she had never seen anything like her first encounter with Daryl Allen after his accident.
He was completely bandaged, but they would have to debride the wounds every day, and Daryl described it like being skinned alive.
Court documents filed last month tell us Allen, a Denison resident, was working for a trucking company subcontracted to Calumet in Shreveport, Louisiana, back in April 2015, when the material inside the truck exploded, covering Allen in liquid asphalt.
Unbelievably, he put his hands down in that 400-degree asphalt and was able to get to the shower and passed out of the shower.
The lawsuit alleges the truck had been overfilled with asphalt, and the hose used to empty some of it out had not been properly cleaned, causing the explosion. The documents allege Allen, as a truck driver, should have never been put in the position to help offload it.
He literally has second, third-degree burns over 95% of his body. No use of his hands. He's got contractures in his hands. He can't close his eyes. They have to physically close his eyes. It's horrible.
Calumet released a statement in response to News 12's request for comment on the incident, stating in part, "While we are disappointed the family chose to file this lawsuit, we respect their legal right to do so and remain hopeful a mutually beneficial resolution can be reached." The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, website shows several citations for various violations over the last 10 years. Aldous says back in 1999, another truck driver was injured in the same exact way as Allen, though not as seriously. Aldous says Allen has already racked up more than $1 million in medical bills and will need round-the-clock care for the rest of his life, but the family can't afford it. For now, Allen continues to recover at his home in Denison under the care of his wife. In Dallas, Brittany Harlow, News 12. 21-year-old Leila Rogers was arrested yesterday and charged with 3 counts of first-degree rape of a victim under age 14. A witness in the case, whose identity we are not revealing in order to protect the victim, tells us she saw everything.
I seen what was going on. I literally walked in on it.
She tells us she knows Leila Rogers and hopes she gets life in prison.
She's a sick person.
A post on the Bryan County Sheriff's Office Facebook page says in part, BCSO investigators have collected several items of evidence related to this investigation and have written search warrants related to the biological evidence, which will be submitted to the OSBI laboratory. Court records state Rogers had sexual intercourse with the child on 3 occasions, on or about July 5th, 19th, and 27th.
They're not old enough to understand the repercussions of it.
A neighbor who lives nearby but did not want to appear on camera tells us no matter the situation, 12 years old is not old enough to make any kind of decisions related to sexual matters.
They want to please the adults, and they'll do what the adult wants them to do, whether they're comfortable with it or not.
This witness says she is still coming to terms with what she says she saw Rogers doing.
I say that she deserves what she gets.
Rogers is currently in the county jail on $75,000 bond. If convicted, she could face up to life in prison. Live in the studio, Brittany Harlow, News 12. Ada Fire Captain Daniel Manuel tells us he was standing right here outside of the H2O church in Ada when he saw this message float down from the sky.
It was probably 50 or 70 feet up in the air, and as it got pretty close to us, it just kind of stopped and just trickled down to the ground.
Manuel says he felt compelled to pick the paper up, and as he bent over, he caught a glimpse of the words on it.
They're just plain as day, the words, may God comfort you, were visible.
The church snapped a photo of the message and put it online.
God is with us in the good times, in the bad times, and it's sometimes in those moments of struggle and hurt that we just need that extra reminder that we're not alone.
With more than 150,000 views and over 1,000 shares, lead pastor Zach Christian says it's been neat to see how many lives the message has touched. Sarah Carter found these baseball cards in her front yard when she came home Monday night. She told us she's using the Facebook page Murray County Lost and Found Tornado Disaster 2016 to try to reunite the cards with their owner.
This morning I posted the photo of the cards just in case someone recognized them or wanted them back.
The Lost and Found page also has numerous posts about found dogs, people searching for the owners. The National Weather Service confirmed 2 tornadoes fired up in Murray County and crossed into Pontotoc County Monday night. An EF3 that began north of Sulphur and ended south of Roth, and an EF1 that traveled north of Roth but fell apart just before it reached Ada.
I may never know who this belonged to. Its origin could remain a mystery, but there's no doubt to me that God dropped it right here for a reason.
People can also drop off items they found at the Pontotoc County Sheriff's Office, who will work to get them back to their rightful owners. In Ada, Brittany Harlow, News 12.